Welcome back. This is the 2022 release of the NCC 1701 from the classic Star Trek TV show, otherwise known as TOS. And I made a decision the other day. Say hello to the 1995 version. Oh boy. So many people made so many comments. I wanted to see this for myself. Now, I will say I paid a little more than I would have wanted for this. I'm not talking the thousands of dollars. I'm talking the 40s of dollars because I'm gonna pan this up just a little bit, and I want you to take note of the Kmart sticker. $25.99 from Kmart. This box is in wonderful condition. I'm going to put them side by side. There is a bit of a size difference, which is very interesting to me. We'll tilt down a little bit. I'll push these back just a hair. Look at the size difference. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You get more of a nebula feel over here, whereas this is just a star field. There's a lot of interesting differences. There's still a Klingon attack cruiser. We've still got the same kind of display down here, as you can kind of see. Really, it's incredibly similar. 4 Star Trek sounds on this one. This one just talks about multiple light FX, iconic Captain Command phases, light up engine nacelles, classic Star Trek display stand, a lot of different things. But I want to take a look at them. I want to look at the screw holes. I want to look at the stand. I want to look at all of that. So let's go for it. So I'm going to move the boxes around just a little bit. I want to take a look at the back. First point of contention. Actually, there were 2 points of contention that were throughout all of the comments that I got. Number 1, which I completely agree with, is the display stand. Look at the footprint here, and we're going to compare those footprints in person, but I just wanted to take a look at the back of the box first. This display stand, more of a footprint, more substantial. This one, I mean, I will say this looks like it's only one position and one position only. This one has more adjustment. However, that adjustment is incredibly limited regardless of how many points of articulation you have, because there is a balance issue. The other point of contention, which I also agree with, but am not as angry about, the nacelles. The nacelles did not light up in the back. Here we're going to see that they do not light up in the back. As a matter of fact, we're going to find that there is far less points of light on this 1995 version than this 2022 version. And that, I think, is a point in the right direction. We want to see more lights. We would like to see more sound. Sound is nice, but we want to see it lit up. And the more lit up we can make it, the better. All right, so that's the back of the box. A little sparse over here, a little bit more detail over here, recommending not mixing new and light batteries. This little thing, there's a value, 4 points, star points. There's a QR code down there. A little different, but very much the same, actually. Not much of a change up in the box. Something else significantly different. This packaging is all cardboard. Whereas, and I would say this is a step back, the new packaging is this plastic. I'd very much prefer the cardboard. It seems a lot more environmentally friendly, which I know a lot of people really don't care that much about. I kind of do, so there you go. Also, here is how you put it together. Takes 3 AAA batteries, which I have on hand. The sound is all in the same place. It's up here on the top. Display stand, and that's your lot there. And then someone who owned this kindly put on the stickers, so you won't have to suffer through a sticker montage. Apologies for the microphone stand back there. I'm trying to find a place to put it so that I can get a nice direct line of sound, so I'm not relying on the iPhone audio, because it's fine, but it's not what I personally want. So I'm using a microphone. I got a microphone stand back there. It's pointed at me. It's far enough away to where I'm not going to pop my peas, but I'm just putting that out there. Also, here are our parts. Here is our star section and our hull, secondary hull. Here is our stand. Here is the stand base. We'll get into that. Here are the nacelles, which I love the way these function, because there's your little connectors, your little pin connectors right there that go into the hull. So let's put this together. And, you know, kudos to the seller for not only keeping this pristine, that box is absolutely pristine, but also keeping everything else pristine. The battery compartment, which I will take apart, was labeled as pristine. So we're going to get this nice in here. We're going to get this connected with a nice satisfying snap. Number 2. Make sure it's the right way. Yeah, okay. Click. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. And now we've got the Enterprise. All right, so here come the stands. I'm going to put this together to the best of my ability. It looks like it kind of slides in like this. Click. That's the sound we want. There's stand number 1 from 1995. And then here's the old stand. Folks, I'm going to say that that's a very similar footprint we've got going on here. It just maybe seems smaller because there's less plastic to look at. I mean, this has got a nice ridge on it. It comes up. This has got a very sharp drop right there. I'm going to say that these are incredibly similar in size. Well, you know what? Well, see, you got the chevron back there, though, because if you look here, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they're similar, but they're not the same. This one is definitely a little bit smaller. The reason this one fails, though, is because it adds articulation to a ship that is incredibly heavy on one end or the other. This has got a peg in it. And yeah, this one is definitely bigger. It's a little bit less jiggly, I guess. This one's got a little jiggle to it. It doesn't feel like it's going to come apart easy. This one always feels like the back's going to come up and off. This one does not feel like that at all. It's all slid in here. It's clipped by a clip that's right here to the back of the base. Yeah, so this one definitely feels a lot better. However, it doesn't, as footprints go, it's not as bad as I initially thought. The problem comes from the posability that this one offers and how it has points of articulation in several different areas where, you know, in the 95s, it really didn't matter. That wasn't absolutely necessary. So, let's talk about screw holes. On the left here, I have my 2022 version of the Playmates Original Enterprise. Over here, I have the 1995 version of the TOS Enterprise. It's very interesting. I'm going to say, screw hole wise, the saucer is incredibly similar. If you take a look at the secondary hull here, there do seem to be 2 more screw holes here. There's one here. There's 2 here. There's 1 here. There's a screw hole in the butt. There's a screw hole in the butt. Nacelle-wise, it's very interesting as well. No screw holes along the nacelle, but on the 2023 ship, there are screw holes in the nacelle there. Top-wise, of course, that's where the display power is. So you're looking at no screw holes up here. I will say, however, the 2023 is definitely far more HD in its look here, at least on the primary hull, the saucer section, than the 1995 version. Also, very funny, I just noticed this. What was the number 3 here? So number 3 was long. You can kind of see that there. And here's number 3. Went right there. So I don't... I actually think that those were applied incorrectly. I'm going to go on a limb. No offense meant to the person that applied the stickers. They don't go there. They actually go under here. So that is not a fault on Playmates. That's a fault on the sticker applier. So there you go. I saw this and I'm like, that's weird. That's not how that works. It's not. Unfortunately, whomever put these stickers on back in the day put them on around the saucer section rather than doing it under here. So yeah, that's not Playmates' fault. That's unfortunately. And you know what? You look here. Look here. Look here at these instructions. Unless you have the Enterprise sitting right in front of you where you can look right underneath the saucer section, that's where you're thinking that that's going to go. You know, I mean, so no fault at all to the sticker applier either. Whoever illustrated this, printed in China, there you go. Unfortunately, mislabeled that. They should have had at least a smaller underside section to show where that went. You know, and you can throw blame around everywhere, but it's like there's no point. I mean, it's done, it's over with. There are a lot of problems with the sticker application and the way it was illustrated. So that's not their fault. I will say that it's kind of funny, and it imagine having the window spaced out where the NCC was right there on the hull. Also, a couple other things. The windows are a bit darker. I can't tell. There's some weird stuff going on here. Some of the windows are filled in, some of them are not. I don't know. All of the windows under the saucer section are filled in. Is this the way it's supposed to look? I guess that's a terrible thought, isn't it? I'm getting something that somebody has played with. It doesn't look like there are any other alterations on the ship itself. Everything seems clean, so I don't know why they would have gone in and filled in windows. I guess it's very possible. Also, the underneath here, please let me know in the comments if that's actually how the underneath looked on your Playmates. Now here's the information regarding copyright. Playmates Pictures, 1995. So, and then, you know, a couple more things that were controversial with regards to these ships, and I will put them on their stands, and we'll go from there. We have our single pin that goes right into this hole right there, which is interesting because there's a screw in there as well, but it goes right in here, and then it sits very firmly and does not move. Actually, that's pretty nice. It's pretty stable. There's no articulation, there's no movement. It is just one nicely set pose. Over here, though, this is where we run into problems. We've got this pin that goes up into this little nodule that actually moves around. So you can kind of pose it. The problem being, of course, as stated before, it is very wobbly, incredibly wobbly. This is a little wobbly, but not nearly as bad. So you've got lots of points of failure here. You've got this, you've got a footing that's not quite as wide as this. I mean, look, I touch that and take my hands off and it wobbles. I touch this, I take my hands off and it doesn't wobble. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. I'll have to figure out if I can move that sticker. If I can move those stickers, maybe I can apply a little soap and a little glue and I'll put it in the normal spot so you won't have to worry about that. Okay, so other complaints. The deflector dish. Too orangey. Yeah, I mean, here's the original. It is very brown compared to the a little bit more orangey, a little bit more cartoon TOS look of this ship. Something that they did carry over, which I think is great. If you can take a look over here, there's where the seam is, and then it does not go through the designation, and you've got the same over here, so that's carried over. The seam actually is a little less prominent here, which you would hope so with everything getting better, everything getting more tuned in, more finite and whatnot. Something else, the 1995 version of the saucer here is just a hair bigger. Just a hair bigger than the 2022 version that I have over here. So this is a little bit bigger. Lighting wise, you have lights here and you have lights here. Ooh. That soundboard, not the greatest. That's nice though. I like that torpedo sound. And it's one button for one sound. So there are 4 sounds on the soundboard. There's only one set of lights. But if we go to the back here, we will note that this is gray. There are no little red pieces here to signify that that is the impulse engines. So that's very interesting. They at the very beginning in 1995, they did not show those pieces. Those pieces were red. They didn't even come in a sticker. You could have stuck a sticker on here to make these little things look red, and they didn't do that either. So you've got that problem. Now we move over here to the 2022, and I think that that's what makes this one shine. Is that I didn't turn it on. We'll just turn it on back here. There you go. You've got these nice lights that are more orange, whereas these ones are a little bit more red. You've also got a bottom and a top light coming through. This one's a lot brighter than it's showing on camera. And then you've got your impulse that has lit up. And then the other controversial thing that we'll kind of talk about that's back here, the lights on the back of the nacelles, the warp nacelles. The lights didn't light up on the nacelles back there. You know, this is just for, I mean, it's just showing that they're lighting up more of the ship. You know, I mean, that's, in my opinion, you know, they just want to go that extra mile and light more of the ship. I know that the back end didn't light up. You can see back here where it's a little bit more accurate to what we should be looking at here. Those shouldn't be bulbs. They shouldn't be lighting up. I understand that. That makes sense. But you have to look at it kind of as a step forward, because, I mean, look at the lights that we have. And it's inaccurate. I know it is inaccurate. But, you know, when you're talking about Playmates, and I apologize if this seems derogatory or seems like I'm talking down to the people at Playmates. I'm not. They do things that I would never be able to do. They get to play with things that I would love to play with. They get to research and do stuff. They just want to make these more. And we all understand that the back of the nacelles don't light up. But look what we had in 1995. I mean, honestly, that's the light up that we had back in 95. I'll do you one more as well. Although it's not really fair because there's also an action feature with it. Here is the USS Voyager from Playmates. It's because of Playmates. It's because of Playmates that we have a USS Voyager to display. It's because of Playmates that we have a big, chunky DS9 space station to display. It's because of Playmates that we have the Defiant, a nice, big, chunky, beautifully detailed ship to display. And we're getting back to that in a fully accessible ship. $30, $40. That's great. Think about what I said before when the hands of the Diamond Select Art Asylum ships of yesteryear are gone and are now being replaced by $15,000, $17,000 ships that hopefully, I would hope, would be masterfully created, well-lit, well-detailed things, but they're not accessible. They're not accessible to everyone. Playmates made these ships accessible first. And a great example of that is this. I mean, this is the USS Voyager. It only has one light feature, and that's the deflector. You know, and it would be nice if these Playmates came with, I mean, I like the fact that you can turn it off and back on, and the lighting comes on first and stays on. I think that's pretty cool. But, you know, and then this had the action feature. And this is the first thing to break on these things. So I'm very fortunate that I got this way. So I'm going to turn it to the back here, and you can see the nacelles are up because it's going to warp. But then you push this, and those nacelles go down. You have to hold the button. It's all plastic, which means the little thing, because you can hear it tick. Tick, tick, tick. Well, that's plastic on plastic, and if you do that too much, it's going to bust. So, you know, that's a huge thing with this ship and why, you know, they busted this action feature busted. But you can put it back up. It's a noisy sucker. It is so noisy. But we could get this again. We can get this again if Playmates continues with the license. Because much like the Enterprise from TOS, they really did a number on not only getting us this new TOS Enterprise, but upgrading it. There's more sayings, there's more words, which a lot of people don't care about.
Arm photon torpedoes. Man battle stations. Photon torpedoes, fire!
I like a nice, well-lit ship. That's my bag. I love, and I don't care about the sounds that those Diamond Select Art Asylum ships make. I just love that they light up so beautifully. And that's carried over here. I love how this is lit up so beautifully. And it's limited because it is a $30, $40 piece of plastic. And you can go in, and I've seen this, you can go in and you can fiddle with electronics. You can go in, you can change the lights. Somebody with technological know-how can go in and fiddle with circuit boards. That's and you can see all these screw holes, which means that it's very accessible. It's the same with Voyager. I'm going to take this off the stand and you're going to see the batteries, but that's a fine. Look at all the screw holes in the bottom of Voyager here. I mean, so riddled. And this is a 95 as well, I do believe. Yeah, 1995. You can see it kind of up there above the captain's yacht. 1995. So, they did a whole bunch of these all at once. So these came out at the same time. And then I do believe the Defiant came out around the same time as well. So, I mean, I'm not saying don't be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed. And your disappointment is valid. And your frustration with where the lights are in the back of the nacelles is valid. These are valid issues. These are valid concerns. Because this is what you want to collect. This is what you want to have. You want to have these. You want them to be nice. You want them to be accurate. But that's a problem because you're not gonna get that with a $40 piece of plastic that's mass produced and manufactured. You barely got that with Diamond Select Art Asylum ships that were $50, $60, $70, $75, $80. You hope to get that with a $15,000, $17,000 ship that's going to be fully lit, and it better fire phasers. And if it's firing phasers, it better be firing phasers and destroying shit. But that's a lot of money, and that's inaccessible to so many fans. And to me, that's just not fair. And fair is subjective in this case, but sincerely, and I don't just mean because I want it, because I do want it. I would love something like that, but that's just too much money for something that should be for everyone. But Paramount and CBS are going to do what they do. They're going to want to make money, and that's another thing you really have a hard time faulting them for. But yeah. So in conclusion, the complaints were valid. There are some extra screw holes on this, but to be honest, I'm going to agree. I am going to agree with you. And it's not because of the screw holes underneath everything. It's the screw holes here. These screw holes over here on the 2023 are very distracting. They are. So yes, you are. I completely agree with you. I'm not going to say you're right. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm going to say I completely agree with you. The lights on the back of the nacelles, I agree that they didn't exist on the original ship. However, I'm going to say that I like them. As a collector, it should bother me, but as a person that loves toys, I think more lights the better. I wish they were accurate, but then again, looking at the back here at the impulse engines, even though they're lit up, they're not red. I'm looking at the impulse engines back here, and they're not red either. So there's just so much going on. You see so much growth. You see so much moving forward with regards to design and lights and sounds, but you do see some steps backward. I think that they need to rethink the design here. And no, This will not fit into this stand and vice versa because of how the peg works. The peg here, I just remembered someone had asked me. Someone had asked me if that would fit. And there's the top of that peg for the 2003. And here's the top of this peg for the 95. And no, unfortunately, I do not think that would fit. I've got it right here. Why don't I just test it? It's a square. You can't put a round peg in a square hole. I mean, but you don't know that. You didn't see that. Until you've seen these side by side, you don't know that this is a round peg and that this is a square hole. So you don't see that. So, you know, no, unfortunately, you can't put these in the different stands. You know, and the wobbling really bothers me on that one. And I think that's the only, for me personally, as someone that collects these and wants to display them, the only issue I really have, I mean, even just sitting here and wobbling this makes this wobble terribly. The only complaint I really have with regards to the 2023 is that this stand is really terrible. I as a collector, as someone that enjoys, I can overlook the screws right there. But it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. You collect. If you collect something, you should want it in your collection and you should enjoy it. So I completely understand why this is not for you. And why this is. This has got some advantages. I mean, the stand is great. It is a little bit bigger. It's definitely not as HD-ish because this one you've got the lines on the top here, and this one you do not. So this one is more pre-HD cleanup, I guess you would say. But yeah, other than the nacelles, I would say there's just about as many screw holes underneath there as the regular one. But you should collect what you enjoy. I am 100% behind that. I hope that this helped. I hope that this was interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, and I will see you in the next video whenever that happens. We'll talk to you later. Bye.